It's a beautiful day. Hey, 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 it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day.
Hello WA, you're watching Our Town and thank you for joining us as we continue our travels throughout extraordinary Western Australia. For all you history buffs out there, today's episode is right up your alley. We're in Leonora and this historic town and the surrounding region tell a fantastic story of the life and times of the early goldfields and its pioneers. 2.5 hours drive north of Kalgoorlie and you reach the historic township of Leonora and a surrounding hinterland of natural attractions representing the days of the 1890s when gold seekers first ventured into the region. The friendly community township of Leonora is home to 1,500 people, and everywhere you look you see a true picture of the region's strong history, which has been beautifully preserved. Today, Leonora is a town with plenty on offer, with modern facilities such as an impressive aquatic centre, plus many other quality sporting facilities, providing locals with no shortage of recreational activity. And the town is the proud host of the Leonora Golden Gift on the June long weekend. The main street of Leonora hosts Australia's richest mile, where elite athletes come to town with $50,000 up for the taking. It's part of a weekend of festivities that have been going for 15 years, with the local community and business networks providing strong support for the event. Alongside Leonora is the living ghost town of Gwalia, providing a unique look at Western Australia's rich outback mining history. The settlement was part of the Sons of Gwalia mining community in the late 1890s and was a thriving town itself until 1963 when the mine closed, putting 250 men out of work. In just 3 weeks after the mine's closure, the 1,200-strong population fell to only 40. And today, the abandoned homes and businesses remain standing, creating a snapshot of an era and a way of life. As you make your way through this picture of history, you're able to step inside the quaint cottages built of corrugated iron, look through the windows of Maz's store, or wander through Petroni's guest house, which was the home away from home for single men employed at the Sons of Gwalia mine. In 1972, the Gwalia Museum opened in the former Sons of Gwalia mine office. In the 1980s, tourist numbers started to increase, and with gold booming again, Sons of Gwalia recommenced mining in the town. With their support, plus funding from Heritage and Tourism, Gwalia embarked on another phase of life, and the headframe was relocated to the mine precinct, and several miners' camps were relocated to the town site to save them from being swallowed up by the open pit. The Midland is one of 3 steam engines that work the wood lines, supplying timber and fuel to the Sons of Gwalia mine. Initially, the staff of the mine called the locomotive Ken, using the first letters of the names of the 3 sons of the Gwalia directors, Klug, Edquist and Newman. However, it was later named Midland, consistent with the company naming its locomotives after the places they were built. In 1898, mine manager Herbert Hoover, who later became the 31st President of the United States of America, commissioned this 3-bedroom dwelling as a residence for the managers of the Gwalia mine. Constructed of locally made bricks, the house was finished in 1899, but not without objection from the mine's owner, who never expected to pay £750 for a manager's residence, which was several times the cost of an average house at the time. Nowadays, the renovated building is known as the Hoover House Bed and Breakfast and has been decorated in period style so that guests are able to enjoy Hoover's legacy. The residence includes 3 magnificent bedrooms and a grand dining room where mining deals were once negotiated and is set alongside the open-cut mine where gold is still mined today. Gwalia really is one of Australia's greatest living ghost towns, and the way this old mining town has been preserved is just fantastic. And the Shire of Leonora has invested significant financial and human resources into preserving the town. Now don't go anywhere, we'll be back after this short break with more on historic Leonora.
It's a beautiful day.
In 1896, Leonora was a small settlement of timber and hessian shacks before gold prospectors and miners moved in as the industry thrived. Over a century later, and the town's history is still on show for all to see, and the Leonora Heritage Trail allows you to explore 30 local historical sites, and you can do it all interactively. The starting point for the trail is the National Bank of Australia, which opened as an agency in 1897 and today is the Leonora Information Centre and Library. The Sons of Gwalia mine was a major client for the bank, who provided an escort service for the mine's gold bars from Leonora to London at a cost of 1 shilling and 9 pence, about 19 cents in today's money. The line of shops along Tower Street were built by the Lamont brothers in Leonora's early days and were made of brick. By the 1920s, the Lamonts had left town, but the buildings all remain today. This colourful building, now the Youth Centre, is the site of Leonora's first and only 2-storey building. Built back in 1902, this is the site of the old commercial hotel, which took 200,000 bricks to build. The commercial was the biggest hotel north of Kalgoorlie and was demolished in the late 1990s, and this new building was constructed. The Barnes Federal Theatre was built in 1900 and was known as the best hall outside of Perth. Built to accommodate 1,000 people, the theatre was used for community concerts, balls, dances and meetings, and in 1988 it became the Leonora Telecentre until 2007 when it became vacant. A proposal to restore the Barnes Federal Theatre is currently under consideration. In 1896, prison life in Leonora was very simple and prisoners were pretty much chained to a log. This is the old police precinct, which included a lockup, police staff quarters, and in 1902, a courtroom and small public gallery were added to the precinct. Once the new police station was built in 1973 in Tower Street, the former police precinct was sold and is now a private residence. Since its doors opened in 1901, the Sacred Heart Church has hosted many a wedding, funeral and christening and was constructed of corrugated iron and timber by contractor Charles W. Smallhorn. 2 Dominican nuns operated the church as a primary and secondary school in 1903 and also provided finishing classes for young ladies who had left school. In 1907, these 2 buildings were constructed as a Masonic temple and Masonic club at a total cost of £1,200. Freemasons held their meetings here when Freemasonry was very strong in the goldfields until the outbreak of the Second World War. And now, members hold their meetings in Kalgoorlie Boulder. Now utilised as classrooms for the Leonora District High School, the Warden's Court and Mining Registrar's Office were the main centre of the Northern Goldfields when it came to registering mining claims. The first school in the area was opened in 1899 between Leonora and Gwalia, however was closed down by the local health authority and the Central State School opened later that year. The school was relocated to this site in 1906 as more families started to settle in Leonora, and today the Leonora State School is located on the site. This lot was initially granted to the Presbyterian Church in 1898, but it wasn't built until 1910. This is a rare example of the Federation style of church that was built through the northern part of the eastern goldfields in the early days. There are only 7 churches like this left in Western Australia, and Leonora is lucky to have 2. Rounding out the trail is the Grand Hotel and Picture Gardens, a charming example of early 20th century public house architecture. And the White House Hotel, built in 1902 for the Webb family, is still a popular family-run business today. The trail ends at the site of the original Bank of Western Australia and is now the administration hub for the Shire of Leonora. Well, that was an awesome way to take a step back in time and learn all about Leonora's history and the way things were so many years ago. So allow about an hour for the trail. A great initiative too from the Shire is that you can follow the trail via a free interactive app on your phone or tablet. It's a very cool way to check out Leonora's history.
It's a beautiful day.
2 trails, 2 separate themes, 2 days out. Take them alone or take them together, but whichever option you decide upon, the Leonora Loop trails are a great way to take in the local sites, to soak up the stories of the Leonora Shire. First up, we're taking the Darlow Loop, and from Leonora, our first stop on the map is Malcolm Dam. This place is a nice little oasis in the outback, and people are free to camp here. Built in 1902, the dam is a haven for bird life and anglers and is just 10 k's out of Leonora. It was originally built to provide water for the ever-expanding railway network. Taking the trail via the Leonora-Namby Road, you're guided by information plaques along the way, and a short deviation off the main track takes you to the terraces, one of the highlights of the Darlow Loop. We're 40 kilometres out of Leonora, and we're amongst what they call breakaway formations, which are created through erosion by wind and rain. Over a century ago, thousands of men made their way through this remote region, heading towards Darlow in search of gold. If you enjoy your bushwalking, this place is a great spot to do so, and well worth the trek with some magnificent views on offer when you reach the top. The trail continues to the abandoned mining town of Mertondale, named after Merton's Reward, which was the main mine in the town in the late 1800s. Gold prospector Fred Merton discovered gold in the area in 1898, and it turned out to be a very rich find. The mine site was declared in 1899 and the town was gazetted later that same year. In 1910, gold ran out in Mertondale and the town became deserted shortly after. The Darlow Trail winds back to Leonora over 345 kilometres, so allow a full day for your introduction to this really fascinating natural environment. Each of the trails has 15 interpretive signs between 15 and 30 kilometres apart, and you can stop and be told a story by various iron figures with information panels, and learn about the lives and landscapes of this remarkable region. Another day, another trail, and we've made our way to Leinster, which can be reached via the Goldfields Highway on the Agnew Trail. We're about 130 kilometres from Leonora, in a town that was established in 1976 by the Agnew Mining Company to provide accommodation for the workers on its nickel mine. And in 2017, it's now owned and managed by BHP Billiton. Leinster supports a population of about 1,800 people, half being residents and half fly-in, fly-out mine workers, and is a fully serviced town. Built on a sand dune, when Leinster was initially built, special consideration was given to the natural environment, with shady gum trees and native plants giving the town an oasis impression. After a quick break, we're headed back to Leonora via the Agnew Loop. So don't go anywhere, we've still got plenty to show you of this amazing part of the goldfields.
It's a beautiful day.
The Agnew Loop is just under 300 kilometres long and tells many a story of the struggle for survival as Europeans made their way to the region in search of gold in the 1890s. The township of Agnew is a short drive east from Leinster, named after John Agnew, who worked for the local mining company and was officially named a town in 1936. The Agnew gold mine, owned by Goldfields Australia, still operates today and is located alongside the township. In its heyday, Agnew had a population of 500 people, and the local Agnew Hotel, built in 1945, only closed its doors a couple of years ago. The hotel was amongst a row of shops on the main street and is all that is left of the town today. The Agnew Loop is best completed in a clockwise direction. However, because we're making our way back to our base at Leonora, we're headed in an anti-clockwise direction, stopping into the old township of Lawlers. Now a ghost town, gold was first discovered in the area by prospectors Anderson, Hall and Heffernan, who arrived in 1893. The group had little success, so left and returned the following year, where they had better luck, and the town was named after Patrick Lawler, who found the first gold here in 1896. During its peak, Lawlers had a population of 8,000 people, and at that stage was the third largest town in Western Australia. The police station is all that remains of this once thriving town, but mining continues at a nearby underground operation. Originally known as Cutmore's Well, Doyle's Well is situated near the Turkey and Wilson Creeks, on a route regularly taken by stockmen in the late 1890s and early 1900s. Part of a 5,000-acre reserve, Doyle's Well was an established inn and apparently the source of supplies to several illicit inns in the settlements north of here. In the early 1900s, it's believed there was the likes of a swimming pool and a bar, 6 bedrooms, a sitting room, a kitchen and a dining room, although its licence was suspended in 1945. With both the Agnew and Darlow trails, you'll need to allow a day for each to get the best of the ride, and this depends on whether you're approaching the region from the north or south. Anyway, it's certainly worth the adventure. How good is this part of the northern goldfields? As you can see, if you're prepared to spend a bit of time and cover a few miles along the way, then you're in for a real treat when you visit the Shire of Leonora. Well, that's it from us for today. Thanks for joining us for the ride. If you'd like to find out more about where we're going next or where we've been, then you can join us on Facebook. Bye for now, until next time, where we'll see you somewhere in WA.
It's a beautiful day.